What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut mixtape and project by Nicki Minaj. Basically, this project is called Playtime is Over, and it came out in the summer of 2007. So Nicki Minaj was a fresh acquiree of Lil Wayne back in like the spring and probably late 2006, early 2007, pitches like that. Lil Wayne was on the verge of around this particular time when this mixtape came out. Lil Wayne had just dropped the Drought 3, which Nicki Minaj was on with one song, which is the Can't Stop Won't Stop, which is a pretty good pitch. She's around that time she was kind of considered like the female Lil Wayne pitches like that. Some good concepts. She has similar format to like the Drought 3. Most of these are freestyles to other songs as far as those pitches can happen, but there are at least maybe two songs on here that are different. There are original Nicki Minaj songs. I could at least say the song Ease Up, and then there's another one which is, I mean, the thing about Click Clack, that feels like an original song. It says off of Wikipedia that that was the Slim Thug's Click Clack from his 2005 album, but it did not have the same beat from that original one. So I don't know what happened there as to where it might have been an original Nicki Minaj song. I'm not sure where the original Click Clack came from, but it is a pretty good bounce of a song to kind of get. And then there's some ones on here like Sticks in My Bun, which is actually a Dre song by Cool and Dre, but the pitch behind it is I don't know if that was actually on a project or just a spare single. So it's just kind of considered some kind of in between type ones on here. Nicki Minaj has some pretty good choices for the most part. She has a lot of great choices in terms of the pitch behind getting some of these type ones. They're original type factors kind of make into songs of her own. They just create like some good mixtape buzz. Has a good East Coast sheen about it. Definitely reminds me of like, you know, I would have to say like the female Cameron or the female Jay-Z back when he was in his Reasonable Doubt and In My Lifetime Volume 1 days. That I'd say pretty good bounce and pitch behind that. It's real nice kind of like it's a real nice kind of pinstripe kind of East Coast type vibe to kind of get within that relative pitch. So it's a good concept for that. Now that's not to say that every production on this particular product that is chosen is like a top-notch one. This is going to get like a good and a pretty decently good, a modestly good score as far as those pitches going to happen. But I look after just being able to say the concept behind it is that I definitely feel like for the time, and it's a pretty awesome concept that Nicki Minaj was around as far back as 2007, just with some of these pitches, just within that, just because she did kind of shape a lot of the sounds in like the early 2010s and late 2000s with Young Money, and then Pink Friday and Pink Friday Roman Reloaded, some of those type pitches. So it's just an early concept, kind of see what she was on and like her early taste. Did appreciate the concept, but I would have to say the initial backdrop of what I would think of Nicki Minaj and like her debut project is just basically the concept of like an East Coast lyricist, a little bit of Lil Wayne, a little bit of Cameron, a little bit of Jay-Z, some of those type folks, a little bit of Big Even, I would have to say swashed in as far as those pitches kind of particularly kind of happen, just with like that East Coast kind of flavor. But she's not someone that is so East Coast to the point where it's just not going to be on commercial songs. It's basically, yeah, I would just say something that Cameron or Jay-Z would have done around 97 or 2001, just like a touch of like 2000s bounce of like Lil Wayne, some of those type areas, which is a pretty good concept. At least that was the concept back in 2007. That's the pitch. I mean, obviously Nicki Minaj evolved within those pitches. It's not to say she evolved like she wasn't good, but it's just kind of concept that she got a sound and did it, and it proved it as far as those pitches can happen. But the initial days is pretty good. I like some of these initial Nicki Minaj songs. I would definitely have to say that Ease Up and Click Clack are some real nice ones. Probably some of my more favorite songs on here, just to see some of these initial type bounces. Good concept for that. So yeah, I just would say it's a pretty good pitch. So basically out of 19 songs in this particular project, I'm not sure if there were any singles off this mixtape. I would say that at least the new song would kind of seem like a pseudo single, just because that's the only real original type factor. Ease Up and Click Clack, I would have to say, but I'll go ahead and talk about those, and I'll talk about those soon enough. But I look after just being able to say out of 19 songs, not counting out of 20 songs, but there's 19 not counting like the 1/900 Miss Minaj song, which is just like a talking interlude as far as those pitches can happen. There's 19 songs on here, and out of those 19, I wound up recommending 11 and a half. So it's a pretty good pitch. So it's a little bit of it's above average, but it's not like full blown knockout 10 out of 10. It's not to say that it's not an excellent. I mean, I definitely like the flavor of this project. It's very original, and the variety behind it. There's a lot of good, refreshing songs on here that just have a pretty good pitch, and just being able to have some good turn up and things like that. Just kind of the embrace, just Nicki Minaj without the Pink Friday glamour of like something like Super Bass or one of those type singles off of her original album, like Your Love or some of those type ones. I'd have to say, just the pitch behind it, just kind of more hungry and the grind, kind of gritty Nicki Minaj as far as those pitches kind of happen. But the new songs on here are pretty refreshing. I definitely feel like they definitely have the aspect of just being able to nail some of these. I do feel like at least the ones Click Clack and Ease Up are some nice pitches. Just has a good taste of kind of big city kind of nightlife as far as that kind of goes. It's real glamorous. We'll get to that, but Yeah, this is the pitch behind it. So basically, yeah, I'll go ahead and recommend like the 11 and a half songs I recommend on here. So they would be What You Know, the interlude, which is just Lil Wayne rapping to Beyonce's Upgrade You, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, which was also on the Drought 3 by Lil Wayne. Pretty good pitch, good cover to bring that over here. Playtime is Over, Jump Off 2007, Click Clack, which seems like a new song, Warning, Sunshine, Let You Go, Sticks in My Bun, and Ease Up. I would have to say that's 11, and then the almost song would be 40 bars. I just would look after it. So basically, I'll go ahead and talk about 40 bars first. The almost song. This would be like a wake up kind of hop to it, kind of anthemic, kind of East Coast bravado of a song. I would feel like definitely pretty triumphant type song to kind of get here. Just real nice bustle of one. This is like a breakfast kind of slog of one. I'd have to say maybe like some Waffle House type music, some of those type pitches, just some good eye hop and just kind of this dreary kind of eye boogers in your eye type tone just within the relative pitch. It just really slogged just within that aspect how that particular kind of goes. Just look after it. But it is kind of a hop to it, this kind of triumphant type one. It's just an interesting type pitch to kind of have East Coast type vibes and like some morning type pitches. But but yeah, it's an almost song for me just because I look after. I like the production on this particular song. Definitely feels like something DJ. Definitely feels like something DJ Drama or Don Cannon like just within that relative pitch. But I kind of don't know how oftenly I would listen to this particular one just because it's not as much of turn up as much in mine. I mean, if you do have like some morning commerce and pitches like that, some standard fare, or just like day, it's. I mean, it's not like it's forced to be morning commerce, but just amidst like breakfast, brunch, day commerce, this doesn't feel as much of like 10 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night type pitch as far as I would particularly going to have, but I look after it. So just good day commute as far as those pitches going to happen, just being able to say some of that type air. But it's just kind of whether or not you just are in the mood for more kind of regular day type fare is just kind of the concept. It's not really much of like a Friday night type song, I'd have to say, but I do like the concept behind it. It's an almost song. So yeah, there's just some ones on here. I like to talk about some of these ones real quick that are not like I recommend these songs, but I already know these instrumentals, so I'm not going to talk as full blown about them. Like I feel like Let You Go is a fabulous song, good pitch. Nicki Minaj puts a good spin on like the fabulous song from 2003, Can't Let You Go, which is pretty nice. This overall laid back type fare. She has that same pitch within that song, good and amalgamation of that. Warning is a real nice one. She really handles this particular song by Biggie extremely well. She turns it into a pretty good spin as far as that particular kind of goes. Female version of Biggie on that particular song, really like the execution of that one. Just real nice one, just within that tone. I feel like there's some ones on here like she raps to We Taking Over by DJ Khaled, which is a pretty nice pitch. Now, obviously, I mean, it's a good pitch to kind of get this song, but Lil Wayne is just the one of the pros at doing this particular one. It's not like Nicki Minaj is not good, but look, just when listening to the Lil Wayne version, that's more of like a song that Lil Wayne would shred. I mean, Nicki Minaj picked some good songs on this particular one, but that's just more of like someone that you would hear like Lil Wayne or Jay-Z on, or just complete really gets carnivorous on that particular song. Can't really think of too many other lyricists. Trying to think of one. Maybe 2 Chainz could handle that one. Some folks like that if he had been on that song around that time. But yeah, just folks like that. You definitely need someone like Lil Wayne on that song. But it is a song I recommend. So that is a highlight. Nicki Minaj does a good job on there, so I'd say she doesn't. But Can't Stop, Won't Stop was on Drought 3, so I'm not going to talk about that one. And then the interlude was just Lil Wayne rapping to Upgrade You, so that's good pitch. But yeah, so talk about some of these on here. So basically, Ease Up is like a good buzz noise of a song. I would definitely feel like it's like a basic kind of dance stepper. I would have to say it's like a solid hype. I would definitely have to suppose good city pizzazz. I would feel like, and just like an early night kind of hit. And by early, I just mean like 6:30, 7:30 p.m. pitches like that. This initial kind of kickoff one to kind of get is like the things start getting ruffled and riled as far as that would particularly happen. It's some good buzz noise. Just really appreciate the concept of Nicki Minaj getting some basic kind of percolators as far as that particularly kind of happens. This real nice one kind of pop things off a little bit, just going a little ham, some of those type pitches as far as that particular kind of goes. It's like the concept of some of these type ones. Definitely need to be another song like this. I mean, this is just like a brief appetizer and taste of what Nicki Minaj might have been able to do in 2007 had there been more like attention that she would have had. It's not like she didn't have attention, but she was kicking open the door, just got signed to Cash Money as far as those pitches gonna happen, or Young Money as far as that particularly gonna went. Just wonder if there were more songs like this in 2007 from Nicki Minaj, because I would have liked definitely like an original mixtape from her with songs like ease ups. This would have been some good buzz noise to have kind of gotten just like an EP's worth or something like that. Would have been a dope concept. But yeah, another song that feels within similarity to that, but I'm not sure if it had like an actual. I don't know if this was a instrumental to someone else, but it feels like a new song just because I can't locate like the actual. It says it was from some thug, but it doesn't seem like that as much. But it's Click Clack, and it's like a jazzy kind of evening big city glamour. I would have to say here is definitely like a frenetic song, and it pulsates pretty well. It's definitely one that should get you pumped pretty easily. I'd have to say this kind of has a thrilling vibe about it, and just has some good glitz about this particular song. So it's just a real nice one here, just some real city type pizzazz just to be able to get just within the flash of it. Just real nice car commerce pitch like that, some evening glaze just to be able to get crunk a little bit and head. This would be like a prime. I mean, this one's a little bit more turned up than Ease Up. I'd have to say it was just within the freneticness of just being out and about, maybe just preoccupied, just whether or not you're just got stuff on your mind or you're just ready to get turned up. It's just an exciting one, exhilarates. But talk about some of these mixtape songs on here, like What You Know is a good pick. This is a nice one. This is about Lil Mama, but Nicki Minaj does a good job with this. It's like a good flavor and choice for Nicki, I would definitely have to say. She handles the song pretty well. I'd have to suppose about that, and it's like some bad bitch kind of gloss about this particular song. So it's just good concept. Yeah, I do feel like Lil Mama definitely handled this song with the particular aspect about it. It just kind of felt more school bound within those pitches, more of like student era. So just the concept of having Nicki Minaj, someone who would have been like within the territory of folks like Lil Wayne, and it's not to say Lil Mama was not in that territory, but just more of like someone within like Ti and Lil Wayne type range and Jeezy type range. I'd say just within that relative pitch is just a good handling of that particular song. Yeah, I don't know why there weren't more Lil Mama albums. I definitely feel like when she had songs like this and that song she did with T-Pain and Chris Brown and some of those type of folks, she had a series of singles off her particular 2008 albums. Good pitch, but I like Nicki Minaj being on this particular song. This has some good bad bitch gloss about that, I would definitely have to say. Real nice highlight. This one, the standouts off this particular mixtape is the song Sunshine. Now, this was off a Jay-Z project as far as that particular kind of went. I think it was In My Lifetime Volume 1 or Volume 2. Had Foxy Brown on there. It's a nice one. It's like a nice seldom mixtape choice. I would definitely have to feel like Nicki shreds this particular song, and the other cat, Gravy, shreds it pretty well as also. I had to say it's this good combination, good team up, just good affability behind this one. It's like some good city day commerce. So it would feel like basic traffic kind of music to have. And it's a good song to just gel to, just kind of vibe just within those pitches. Basic kind of traffic type fare, just the commerce of just being out and about, just 4 o'clock type slag, just pitches like that, just picking up some Burger King, some of those type pitches, just getting like a burrito, something like that, just enjoying the time, smoke a little bit in the whip, just simp that type tone as far as that particular one goes, just easy kind of car bounce. Yeah, it's just an excellent type choice. That's the sort of concept I feel like you get like you'll definitely get songs from early Jay-Z like Dead Presidents or one of those type ones, but this was actually a pretty nice choice. Nicki Minaj knows Jay-Z, Cameron, and Biggie pretty well. Those are 3 ones that kind of have a lot of highlighted type of feel. You're gonna find productions from those folks at least more than once or twice on here on these particular projects. There's 3 Biggie songs, 3 Jay-Z songs, and at least 2, possibly 3 Cameron songs on here just within that relative pitch. More often than not, these songs stick out in a good way, but it's just kind of the concept you look after. Sunshine was definitely an excellent Jay-Z song that I'm not too familiar with that particular song, but that is a nice one to kind of get for like a mixtape bounce for that. A song that might as well be like a new Nicki Minaj song is Sticks in My Bun. This is by a song by Dre, which I forget. It's like called Sticks in My Bun is called Naomi by Dre of Cool and Dre, but it's a good concept. Don't really know that particular song. I wonder if it was on one of his mixtapes, but this is like a glitzy kind of nightclub bounce of a song. I would definitely feel like good night air and breeze. I would definitely have to say this is definitely like some demon time flash, I'd suppose. Yeah, it's definitely like some good demon time flash, I'd say. Just a good concept. Waking up 8 o'clock p.m., just heading out to nightclubs and pitches like that, just enjoying the breeze, getting some burritos, some of those type pitches, picking up some Chex Mixes, smoking good, figuring out the glitz and glamour. This would be like a good combination if Sunshine with if the Jay-Z cut Sunshine is more of like a 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock p.m. type pizzazz, just being in a relative peppy kind of bouncy type mood, I'd say Sticks in My Bun is like the more night pizzazz version of that, just the more night commerce, just whether or not you're just traverse walking there, pitches like that, or more car commerce, just getting towards the venues and some of those type pitches to really get crunk as far as that particular one happens. Just real nice breeze kind of getting this real nice stunt type music kind of have for some nights out. Goes pretty well. I feel like definitely a good accompaniment with Ease Up, some of those type tones, and Click Clack. I'd say not quite as frenetic as Click Clack, but definitely a good concept just for like some easy kind of just ambience, I'd say, in like a more jivey type sense. And then Jump Off 2007 is a nice one. This is a Lil Kim production on here. Good concept for this one. It's like a good East Coast kind of city bustle. The song I had to say is like some outdoor noise and jive. I would definitely feel like just kind of out and about in like the city. Maybe pick up a hot dog or some Subway, some pitches like that. Just outdoor type fare. It's like a throwback kind of stunt type tune to go ham to. I definitely feel like so. This is a good concept. Just some of these type ones. It's like that relative bustle, just being out and about, just within like the concept of this kind of something that was kind of popping in like the early 2000s, some more the East Coast type fare, something Lil Kim was kind of up to because she was still a heavyweight in the early 2000s as far as those pitches kind of happen. She was popping up less around that particular time, but La Bella Mafia was a pretty good project. She had some good buzz noise. This is just kind of an overlooked type one, just like Sunshine. The Foxy Brown and Jay-Z song, I'd have to say, so it's a good concept for that. Real nice bustling type one. Just really feels like something you'd listen to at like a football game or a baseball game. Some of those type pitches just in like the big city lights and pizzazz like that. Just real nice outdoor noise one to get. So that's the concept behind this particular mixtape. So basically, there are some ones on here that I don't recommend as much. I like the fact that Nicki Minaj attempted to do the Dream song, which was a bonus track from Biggie's Ready to Die. But the problem with that is the original way that production was just better. The way Biggie did it was just better. Kind of turned it into like more boom bap or just kind of more kind of throwback to like mid 80s kind of rap tune that just didn't have the beat that it does at the beginning of like the song, like, or just like the way that Biggie's version of that particular song kind of happens. This was not as compelling a one. It was interesting to hear Nicki Minaj, some of the rappers that she wanted to jump on as far as that particular pitch kind of goes, but it's just kind of the concept that just didn't have like the full blown kind of, it just was not as catchy because it just was not as sonically pleasing. There's some ones on here like I feel like I'm Coming, which was the Mo Money Mo Problems, was a good attempt, but it just that was just not one that I felt like Nicki really had the pizzazz to be able to do quite as nicely as far as that pitch kind of goes. The freestyle, which is just called freestyle, is not a good production to really freestyle to. Just didn't really have much edge towards it as far as those pitches kind of happen. Hood Story was kind of one that was similar to like Hood Story was kind of one that was similar to like 40 bars, I'd have to say, but I just look after it was just not. It was probably like another kind of just it was just kind of some more morning bravado and just overall hop to it kind of bustle, but just it really paled in comparison to the way 40 bars did. And despite the fact that 40 bars was an almost song, some of these type ones have a little bit of get up and go, but just don't nail it as well. I feel like 40 bars just did better despite the fact that that's an almost song, but Hood Story just didn't nail it as well. Encore 2007, which was the Jay-Z and Linkin Park's Encore song. This was kind of an awkward one. This is one of the few ones where I felt like Nicki Minaj just didn't have like the full blown. I mean, this is probably one. It makes sense for Jay-Z to be on this song, but I just didn't see like I didn't quite see the edge of like Nicki Minaj being on this particular one. Definitely felt like a concert song that you would play at like a concert, something like that. But that one's just not a very good choice to really freestyle to as far as that particular fare kind of goes. Just didn't really see like, I mean, it's a good song when Jay-Z and Linkin Park, but it just didn't really feel like a good mesh into something that could have been like a good showcase of lyricism. Just kind of felt like that. But yeah, there's just some ones on here like Niggas song. Niggas was just kind of an awkward type one. It was just another. This is just another kind of just Don Cannon type production. Normally I like these Don Cannon kind of mixtape type fares, but it just didn't have as much appeal, particularly about it. This was not quite. It just didn't really have as much attention grab as within that aspect behind it. Plus, it didn't have as much pizzazz. That's kind of the concept. And then Dilly Dally was just kind of a poor Jay-Z type beat. That was one of the more awkward ones from his Kingdom Come album as far as those pitches kind of happen. Was just kind of like a revamp of like MC Hammer's Can't Touch This, but it just didn't nail the vibe nearly as well as that particular song. The one that Jay-Z did was just lacking in the appeal behind it. It's the same thing with I mean, if Nicki Minaj had rapped to Can't Touch This by MC Hammer, that probably would have been a little bit better, but the Jay-Z variation of it just didn't pull off the vibe nearly as well. So that just kind of happens to be a thing. So yeah, the score I'm going to give this particular mixtape, me recommending 11.5 songs out of 19. I'm going to go ahead and give this mixtape like a 6.75 out of 10. Now, I look after it would have gotten a higher score. I was going to raise the score a little bit because it's a mixtape and it's free, but I look after there are at least 2 songs that are already on other projects by Lil Wayne. So it really makes it more of just like, I would say, it makes it more of like 9.5 out of like, that would make it 9.5 out of 17, which is not quite it. That's a little bit more subpar as far as those pitches can happen. But I look after it. I mean, obviously, if you've already downloaded the Drought 3, which you definitely should have, I look after the concept of those songs. I mean, it's good that Nicki Minaj had them on this particular product, but you can find them on that particular product, which is kind of the thing. But I look after it. 6.75 is a good enough pitch to kind of be able to have that. There are some really original flavor. I like the originality factor and the flavor of this particular product. Nicki Minaj definitely had some good choices, and she shreds the particular songs that are good. within those aspects. So it's just a good pitch to be able to get some of these. I mean, there's some decently kind of cruddy productions on here, I would have to say, but I look after it, it's just more just aching to just paying homage to like the folks that came before. It's not like, I mean, obviously some of the ones like Cameron, Jay-Z, some of these East Coast type cats like the Noriega, some of these type ones like the songs like Dilly Dally, the poor Jay-Z type songs, the poor Biggie type songs, the poor Cameron and Noriega type songs, and some of those type folks. I mean, obviously they have better songs that probably could have been chosen. Like I mean, obviously it would have probably been like passe for Nicki Minaj to have rapped a dead president. So I'm trying to think. She had a good choice in the song Sunshine, which is a pretty good pitch, but it's being able to say, you know, Nicki Minaj could have rapped a Kick in the Door, which would have been a pretty nice one, or she could have done like a more glossy type song. She could have done One More Chance, you know, the remix that got to #1, some of those type pitches. I mean, there's plenty that could have happened. It's just kind of the fair, it's more the Nicki Minaj poor choices and like the production type fair more so than just complain about East Coast productions, because that's just kind of the thing about it. But I look after it, like I was saying, there's some original flavor on here. Really like the spice and the overall original appeal of like her original song, which is Ease Up. Nice pitch to kind of get that one. I kind of feel the same way about Click Clack and some of these lesser known type ones like Sticks in My Bun. There's some nice glossy type ones to skip for like some big city night pizzazz. So this is more of a city type project, more so than a country type project, I would definitely have to say. It says that East Coast kind of glitz and glamour about it. Just more hot dog, just more skyscraper hot dog stand, more places like that type bound pizzeria type places. Or those pitches kind of happen. Just some good pizzazz of just being out and about. Has some club bounce on here. Has some social pizzazz. Not really that much of like a work shift project, but I just think the concept of like the car commerce and just traverse just out and about in like the city type fair. I mean, obviously it's just within the bustle behind it. It just doesn't designate it to saying this is the song you listen to. I think the closest thing you get to it is just songs like Sunshine and some of those type ones, like Sunshine and Ease Up, some of those type pitches that are just like the excitement of getting ready to step out of bed and just realize that you're going to have a hype night later. But it's probably just between about the fairs minus the instrumentals that are different, just between like I would say 5:45, 6:15 p.m. to about 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'd have to say just within that concept. But there's definitely some good moments on here. Nicki can shred, and for the most part, she picks more oftenly than not some good ones that have some flavor that she turns into basically damn near her own songs. Good pitch behind that. Lil Wayne probably should have been on here more on top of that, but I look after it for the most part. That's still good. So the social score, I'm going to go ahead and give the social score like a 7.75 out of 10. If there had been more original songs on here, it definitely would have gotten a higher score. I think Nicki Minaj probably would have proved even to having some quality on here if we would have seen more moments from her like Ease Up and some of those type ones. The social glamour about this project's pretty high, and I like the overall aspect. I like the charm that it particularly has, so it's a good concept for that. There's some real good night glitz, I'd have to say. Good, excellent concept for that. It's pretty affable type bops to kind of get on here. Just basically, once again, between the hours like 6 to about 11, some pitches like that, and just some good bounce and just overall just affable taste of just like outings just within like a evening and night type fare. So in terms of the future, like Nicki Minaj, recently she said that she's going to put out a Pink Friday 3, which is a pretty good pitch. Originally it was going to be a deluxe to Pink Friday 2, but we look after it as a Pink Friday 3, so we'll have to see what's up with that. There's definitely some more products I'm going to get to. Do you want to get to some more of her mixtapes, some of that type fare? Eventually I'll review Queen as well. We're going to get to some of those type pitches, but I'd say, yeah, this is a pretty overall solidly balanced type mixtape to kind of get here. Definitely some thrilling type qualities about it, and definitely not one that you want to overlook. I would have to say most folks probably nowadays know Nicki Minaj up to a certain point, but this is definitely a throwback one that's worth the investment.